So huge thanks for joining myself and Nicole.
Hi.
Nicole Bremner. Now this video is about a new software company you've invested in, Nicole.
Yes, that's
So
right.
I'll let you pronounce the name.
It's called Duomo. So I've just become an equity investor and non-executive director of Duomo, website duomohq.com. And it's a new marketplace for new build properties.
So let's just focus on the name. Why Duomo?
So Duomo was founded by Rathore, who you might know from Bamboo Auctions, and he actually led us through this really beautiful story about why Duomo, and the reason really is because he wanted it to have something to do with property, the name, and he wanted it to mean something for him, and Florence is one of the most his favorite places in the world, so he thought he would name it after the Duomo in Italy, and hence the name Duomo. And so we sat in a meeting with him and all decided that was a really good name for this platform.
Sure, it's quite a fascinating story how you actually connected. So
Yeah.
you know, it's a story social media again. So do you want to just elaborate on what he did, how he connected? You know, because we can all connect, we can all follow, we can all so forth. But what did he do differently? What did he do to stand out?
Well, we started chatting on Twitter, so Robin and I, and that was very much about Bamboo, because what was interesting is Bamboo Auctions is an online auction house where they were having about 50% of their buyers were females, but if you've ever been into an auction room, you'll know that there are hardly any women in there. And so for him, it was really interesting why so many women were buying online but didn't feel comfortable in the auction room environment.
And you said it was completely different on your podcast in Australia as well.
Yeah, it's completely different. So in Australia and in America and France and many other places, auctions are very, it's just the normal way of selling a property.
And garden auctions are quite
Yeah,
raw.
that's right. You have people in the garden, and people just pull up on a Saturday morning and you watch the auction from the balcony. Veranda in Australia, veranda.
What did Robin do right though to connect with you? Because you know, as
Yeah.
I say, what did he do to stand out? And again, it's probably about the brand as well.
Look, yeah, you're right. That's a very good question, because I get a lot of people approaching me on social media. I get hundreds of messages a day, and the reason that Robin stood out is that he had a win-win for both of us. He said, I need assistance getting to know why it is that women are comfortable buying online, but they're not comfortable going into an auction room. Can we meet for coffee to discuss? And that's really how we met and how we first got to know each other, and that was early in 2017. And we discussed it, and then the opportunity arose for me to become an investor. And it really was something, Duomo was something that we discussed together as solving a problem that I had, which is selling my new build homes, and a solution that he had, because he already had this online auction capability.
Sure, just to focus on the podcast, you mentioned you had, I think, a number of people interested who dropped out, and that's what got you interested.
Yeah, exactly. So what happened is, after I sold a new build property in Hackney, we were getting so many people, hi Claire, we were getting so many people contacting us afterwards saying, we really wanted to buy into your development in Hackney, but we couldn't because we weren't quick enough. And it made us realize that there was no mechanism there for new build homes. It's very much about first person into the estate agent with their check gets the property, whereas by having I don't want to call it an auction type, because we're trying to stay away from auction terminology, but by having this marketplace, it allows the person with the highest bid to actually to purchase that property.
How do people access it? Is it literally on a tablet? Is it on laptop? Or can you use a smartphone?
You can do it all on your phone. So I've logged in and I set up my Duomo account on the phone, and you just need your driver's license or a passport so that they can check who you are. But that's an instant DVLA database check, because you need to check that these people are who they are, because they have to be AML KYC'd. So the process is that you see a property you like, and let me just step back for a second as well, because Duomo is disruptive, but it is not supposed to take the place of an agent. You could, if you had enough marketing power, for example, you could sell without an agent. However, the idea is that this is co-branded with your estate agent, so that you can together sell this property and maximize the GDV on your property.
That's interesting, because I thought it was just on its own.
No, it's not. So just say, let's use my Midland Road Luton one as an example. We're currently talking to an estate agent, Colliers. So we might go with Colliers. So what we do is, on our Duomo site, which will be our microsite, we'll have that co-branded with our Midland Road branding and with Colliers branding, so that any inquiries from people will be going directly to Colliers, but this will be a microsite where we can collect data. Now, this is the really interesting thing about it, is that when you are selling a new build property, estate agents collect how many clicks there are on Rightmove, etc., but you don't really know how much interest there is in that particular property, whereas this is collecting really interesting data. So you don't actually have to go live with this property sale until you've got enough people who have put indicative offers on that property, and then you can switch on the sale and you can let the people bid against each other and or put in their offers until you have a bid that is the winning bid.
Sure. So where are we in the process of Duomo? When can people, developers, use it?
Right now. So right now my Midland Road project is live on Duomo, so duomohq.com. You can go on there, you can see my Midland Road. We've released 10 flats there for sale, and we're looking for more developers right now. So if you are interested, if you are a developer and you're interested, have a chat with Robin Rathore. He is doing many demonstrations on how it works with developers now, and it really works well for anyone with sort of 10 to 50 units. That's where we think is the sweet spot.
Geographical spread?
It doesn't matter. UK wide.
Okay, so UK wide. In the podcast you mentioned an example of people coming from Singapore.
Absolutely, yeah.
Look, I know there's more and more questions. I promised it would be a 7-minute interview, so it won't be much longer than that. Robin's going to be at the National Development Summit.
Yes.
You're going to be also interviewed, and I'm sure one of the key questions is going to be focused on this new Duomo product. What's the key questions you think people should be asking you at the summit? I know you're on the Planning Gain panel as well, with Alex chairing it, Alex Harrington Griffin of Trusted Land. Mm-hmm. What's some of the key questions which you think would be valuable to both people coming to the summit? Yeah,
well, obviously anything around social media and branding and building your property, your brand as well as your personal brand. I'm happy answering questions around that. Crowdfunding.
Because I had a look this afternoon. You've gone up to 17,000 followers on LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's right. The maximum's 30, so I wonder how long it takes until I've got the maximum.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you short because you mentioned crowdfunding as well.
Yeah, crowdfunding, again, that's something we set my team set we have the record for the quickest ever property raise, we believe. We're yet to have that verified.
Sure.
So a lot of this comes down to social media, and also around becoming what I've called a nano influencer, and all these opportunities such as Bamboo and Duomo and Quorum, which I'm also involved in, and some other things that I can't quite talk about just yet. That's all from social media and building my own personal brand.
I was going to say, some people are going to listen to this now and think, look, because I met a prop tech company today, and look, as far as I know, I organised the first main prop tech event in the UK, which was under the banner of Boris Johnson London Technology Week in about 2012. Players like Lend Invest were on that particular day session. So, but people go and listen to this conversation and think, technology, interesting. What really stood out? What stood out for Robin? And we're going into a lot more detail at the summit as well. But what was the key thing which you thought, I want to invest in this company?
First of all, Robin is a great guy, and I really like Robin. We got along very well, and I can see myself working very closely with him and his team, Chris as well, who's also on his team. I really like Robin and Chris. So that was the first thing. Secondly, this was a solution to a problem that I have, and so I'm interested in investing in solutions to my problems.
Which aren't just your problems, it's problems of
other developers. Yeah.
And you've illustrated that beautifully in your podcast. Nicole, how can people find out more about your podcast? Because I can see it on LinkedIn, it's fairly easy, it's got a nice, clear, but what's the easiest way to access your podcast?
The easiest way is on my website, which is nicolebremner.com/podcast. But they can follow on my Facebook page as well, which is Nicole S. Bremner and Nicole S. Bremner. And that way they will be able to see all of the content that we're putting out. And also we have a YouTube channel as well, where we've got a lot of content on that.
Look, I know today's been more about probably more questions created than answers, and that's the beauty of the summit on the 20th of January. So look, I'm not going to go into any more detail. Really thankful for you joining us, whether you joined us live now or whether you've joined us live, not live in the future, but
the recording.
The recording. So thank you, and thank you.
Thank you, Brendan.